Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get notifications of our videos once we put them up. Welcome.
I'm Sarah, and we are looking at the biblical teachings on the origin of sin and its consequences, and you are welcome. We want to talk about what does the Bible tell us about the evil that we see around us. What does the Bible talk about the pain and the problems that we are seeing around us, even amongst ourselves, and even within us? There's a lot of inconveniences that we go through. So what does the Bible tell us on that? When we looked at the first creation story, we also looked at the second creation story, we saw that it was God who made this earth. And God is a supernatural being. And God is good. So, you remember the qualities of God that we talked about. We saw that God is all powerful, is good, and is the one who made this earth. And now we are seeing a lot of mess in this earth that was made by a good supernatural being. And so, like in the first creation story, we are talking about God saw that it was good. When he finished creating his creation work of the first day, he saw that it was good. All the way up to the sixth day, he saw that everything that he did was good. Now, when we talked about the second creation account, God created man, and then he created the Garden of Eden, and he put the fruits there. There's the fruit in the right middle of the garden. There are other fruits there which are looking good, and there are those that are good for fruit, good to the sight, and others are good for the food. You see, there's the fruit at the garden, the middle of the garden. There are fruits which are pleasant to the eye, and there are those fruits which were good for food. And all these were found in the Garden of Eden. Now, when God brought man there, he told him that you are free to eat all these fruits, except for the fruit that is found in the middle of the garden. And you see, and he said, if you eat, for the day that you shall eat this fruit, you will surely die. So you see, there is an indication of if things are not handled well. Yes, from the manufacturer, the manufacturer's desk, the instructions from the manufacturer's desk. There is that manual that you buy. When you buy an item, you are given a manual to guide you. If you don't follow the instructions of the manual, you will mess up with the item that you bought. So there are these instructions that were given to Adam and Eve. There are these instructions that came with the garden that they were given. The item is the garden, and there is a manual. And they were told, if you don't handle it well, things will go wrong, you will start dying. And so we have the origin of sin in this point where there is the fruit in the middle of the garden. So now, after God had created everything, sin entered into the earth shortly after the creation story. In Genesis chapter 3, from verse 1 to verse 6. So what is sin? Sin means to miss a mark. That is what sin means. To fail to achieve a goal. That is what sin means. Now then we have iniquity. Iniquity also has something to do with sin. It is a total moral decay. Yes, total moral decay. Things have gone so bad. That is what we call iniquity. Then we have a transgression. Transgression, it means rebellion. Willfully, somebody is doing it knowing what he's supposed to do, and he just decides to go wayward. So that is a rebellion against God. So Adam willingly, he rebelled, having full knowledge about what will happen if he, for example, commits that wrong. He knew what could happen, and he rebelled against his own creator. He rebelled, he violated the standards that were put there by the manufacturer, by the maker of this earth. The earth is in the hands of the owner, whom we saw is God. And he knew it well. He knew that if you sin, if you eat this fruit, it will cost you life. And Adam went ahead and put God into test. That is rebellion, and that is what we call transgression. But anyway, in general terms, it is called sin. And now this sin, we have said it was entered into the world through Adam, that Adam was allowed to eat the fruits, and a serpent, which was also a creature, came and deceived the woman. The serpent was skillful, cunning, He talked about, did God tell you not to eat from any one of these fruits? Yes. And the woman said, no, we are free to eat from all these trees, except for the middle tree. The fruit from the middle tree we are not supposed to eat. Then the woman is saying, God said if we eat, we will die. The serpent now found a ground. Yes? And he told the woman, no, God lied to you. He knew that for the day that you eat this fruit, you will be wise like him. You will be like him. And then the woman's eyes looked at that fruit, and she started now imagining how it could be if she could be wise like God. God said and everything was done. If she could also have that kind of authority. And the fruit was also looking so good to the eyes. It was forbidden from eating. It was not supposed to get into her that it can be eaten. Now she saw that it can be eaten. Yeah? It's possible. This thing can be put into my mouth. And now if I eat it, then I will resemble God. You see, that was not right. Now the woman ate, and then she took part of it and she gave some to the husband, who was Adam, and Adam ate. Immediately they ate the fruit. Read the Bible, because we said the Bible is the main source of authority and the main reference material that we have. Genesis chapter 3, verse 1 to 6. When they ate the fruit, they discovered that they were naked. Then they went and hid themselves behind the trees. You see, when they had God in the late hours of the day, at dusk, then they went and hid behind the plants. So we are saying that sin came from a force that was outside Adam. It was not from the mind of Adam. It was not from his heart. It is a force, an external force, which was the serpent. You see? So we are supposed to be very careful on how we interact with other forces which are coming into our lives. And so it was a free choice of Adam. Adam chose to rebel against his maker. He rebelled against the instructions of his maker. This is rebellion against God. And so they failed. The temptation, they failed. They were tested. The serpent could not necessarily mean the snake. It is a force. It is a temptation, a powerful source of influence. And this can happen even to us. We are supposed to be very careful. Something that can come and it has got overwhelming strength over us. No. We should pray to God to help us. So man ate the fruit, and he realized he was naked. And when God came, who was a friend to him, he ran away and he hid himself. And now, when God asked him, where are you? He said, I had your presence and I went to hide. Why are you hiding? Have you eaten the fruit from which I forbid you? No, Adam said, it is this woman that you gave me. You see, the relationship now between Adam and Eve is already bad. He is referring to her as a woman. Then we look at now the consequences of sin, because now when God realized that these people were hiding, they were naked. Who told you that you are naked? You know, then he brought man had covered himself with figs, and that is leaves from the plants, so poor, desperate. Then God killed an animal, and he covered their naked bodies with the skin of that animal. That shows the love of God. And then God now spared some punishments on these three culprits, you know, the man, the serpent, and the woman, you know. God is very fair. He does not spare. He talked to the man, he talked to the woman, and he talked to the serpent. And he pronounced the judgment on each one of them. And that is what we are going to see now, the consequences of sin in Genesis chapter 3 from verse 7 up to Genesis chapter 11. We are seeing many bad things happening. And we were talking about when Adam ate this fruit, he in the late the course of that day, you know, late, it was not immediate, in the evening, this evening, Adam came to realize that after eating the fruit, he realized that they were naked. You know, they had lost power and control, authority over nature and creation. After some time, they came to realize that things were not working well. Yes, they had eaten that fruit, but they realized that it was not so right with them. And so it is just like the way the Africans say that majuto ni mchuku. So things happen after something has happened. It may not be so instant. Let us look at the effects of sin according to Genesis chapter 3 to Genesis chapter 11. The first effect was that it alienated man from God. You see, when Adam heard about the presence of God, what did he do? Instead of going closer to God, he ran away and he went to hide. So it spoiled that good relationship between man and God, alienated man from God. The cordial relationship, the good relationship that existed before, we are not able to see it again. Sin is bad. It spoils the relationship between those participants who are involved. And then we have another effect is that what was so innocent and very good became a source of shame. You see, Adam and Eve were walking naked, and they were not ashamed. They were not scared about it. There was nothing wrong. But the moment they ate the fruit, oh my God, they started feeling shameful. And so they went and took leaves and covered their bodies. So something had happened. What was so good and innocent turned out to be a source of shame. So we don't want to see people naked, even today. If you see a full man, if you see a full woman, maybe a mad person is naked in the market, you close your eyes because it's a source of shame. We cannot be able to afford that. We look aside. You turn your eyes to the side. But when we look at babies, we don't have any problem. They can walk naked and we can cheer them sometimes, yes? Then we have number 3, pain crept into the earth. There is a lot of pain that we are able to see in life. Even a woman was told immediately, you will experience pain when you are giving birth. You see, she was told that she would experience pain. Pain entered into the earth, almost so immediate. And so this is what is referred to as labor pain. if you are a doctor who is helping mothers to bring forth babies, you can be able to explain that there is pain there when a child is joining this world. There's a lot of pain. People even sweat. Women sweat. You see, it is painful because it came from the mouth of the Maker. God does not lie. God is truthful and He speaks the truth. He said it will be painful, and it is painful. We thank God again because that pain goes and life goes on. And that is what He told the woman, that you will again need to go back to your husband. So there is pain in life, and we need each other. And now then we talk about another effect, is that the good relationship between Adam and Eve, it was damaged. Yes, let us talk about in Genesis chapter 2, when Adam was brought the woman. After every animal was brought to him, he named them, and he was not excited about them. But when the woman was brought to him, then he said, at last, bone of my own bones and flesh of my own flesh, she shall be called woman. You see, so Adam was excited. What has happened when sin has come in and God is asking him, did you eat from the fruit, from the tree that I forbid you? He said, the woman, this woman, you see. So he's calling his wife, Eve, a woman. That shows that the relationship is damaged, broken. That is so sad. So sad. And that is one effect of sin. So when you see people having very bad relationships, families are having a lot of struggle, we have broken relationships, we have brothers not talking to each other, we have parents having problems with their children. You see, this is because of the sin in Genesis chapter 1. Let us call a spade a spade. Sin is bad, and sin is should be not tolerated. If there is a way that we can avoid doing evil, it's good that we do away with it, because the fruits of sin are very severe, and they are real. They are real. Then we talk about another effect, is that Adam, after he had sinned and God was pronouncing judgment on him, God offered hard labor, because he had worked. He had shown God rebellion, you see. And so Adam was told that you will work hard for you to earn a living. You will work very hard for the ground to bear fruits. So you see, the fruits which were growing freely in the Garden of Eden, just there to pick, you see. And if there was stealing, maybe it was friendly. Oh my God. You carry a djembe and go to the farm. Just carry a djembe one day and you go and you start digging. You will know that it is God who said that it is hard labor. Then we also have another effect, that is the earth could produce thorns. The ground was cast to give rise to thorns, thistles, you know, weeds, all these weeds that we see around, all these plants that have got thorns, they came long after the fall of man. They were not there in the Garden of Eden. The fruits that were in the Garden of Eden were the fruit in the middle of the garden, the fruit of life, the tree of life, the tree that was in the middle of the garden, the trees that were giving fruits for food, and those that were good to look at. 4 types of plants. But these ones which have got thorns, they came after the fall of man. And if you look at them keenly, they are like a solution to a problem. God brought them to serve a curative purpose. If you have ever taken herbs, most of them are extracted from these plants which have got thorns. They are very bitter. We don't like them, but they came after the fall of man. And in the Garden of Eden, there were no industries, there was no hospital, so that was the hospital. You see, hospitals, if you have ever visited there are injections and tablets. Oh, that is thorns, and they are painful. Then let us talk about another effect that we have, and the relationship between man and the animals was damaged. So we have wild animals, they can tear man. Even animals turned against each other. In the Garden of Eden, Adam was naming the animals. Each animal could come and he gives them the name. But later, can you go and stand before a lion and you say this is a lion? And you start giving it titles. It will tear you because the relationship was damaged. Let us talk about another effect. We have a murderous feeling getting into the earth, entering into the earth. The sons of Adam, Abel, Cain, these were sons. They are supposed to love one another. Siblings, same mother, same father. Oh my God. Cain turned against his own brother, Abel, and he murdered him. He murdered him. So when we see murder cases, people taking away the lives of others, it has its roots there in the Garden of Eden. And it's because of sin. So a righteous man, a man who does what is right, will eat the fruits of this earth. He will live a long life and he will be blessed. It's because he has avoided conflicting with God. Avoid conflict. Avoid working against the manual that we have, which is in the book of Genesis, the book of Exodus. The 10 Commandments are there. The teachings of Jesus Christ are there. And they are there to lead us to live a comfortable and harmonious life with our God. Then we also look at another effect, and that is the effect of death. Death came into the earth, and you see Cain killed Abel, so Abel died. And we are seeing people dying all through. It's because of the sin that was done in the book of Genesis chapter 3. Now, we can also find out that there is confusion in the languages. It led to multiplication of the languages because man wanted to strive and reach where God is in the Tower of Babel, and God brought confusion in their languages so that they could not understand one another. We are also able to see that God regretted why he created man. So bad, we regret that we have done some work. The work that God was proud about in Genesis chapter 1. So that is what we have looked at. We have looked at the definition of sin. Iniquity is total decay in our morals. And then we have transgression is rebellion against God. And we saw that man rebelled against God in Genesis chapter 3, where the serpent deceived the woman, Eve, to eat from the fruit that was in the middle of the garden, the forbidden plant, and the forbidden fruit. And it cost us all this, and we have seen the consequences of sin. And we have said that we are supposed to avoid conflicting with our God. That is the end of our lesson. Thank you.
We're very grateful that you found time to watch our content. Kindly press the subscribe button down there and leave a like if the content was helpful to you. Join us in the next lessons. Thank you.